What's going on, footy fans? We are back here for another episode. Andrew, Santo, and Joe, as always. We had our own little footy session today. Trying to get back into the season, trying to get back in shape a little bit. It was tough, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I don't know how you guys made out.
I'm feeling it. I mean, shout out to anyone on Polonia who's listening.
Yeah, that was a tough tryout, man. Practice tryout.
Yeah, I mean, before this, last summer we were training on Wednesdays with Charo. We obviously had a pretty small field, so no like really big running going on, just like short sprints, which, is still a pretty good workout, but
yeah,
I'm feeling it like everywhere, basically. The calves are feeling it.
Calves are on fire.
Yeah. Thankfully, they didn't cramp this time. First run out, they were cramping hard.
Mm-hmm.
Not fun, but got to go get some physio and chiro in.
Yeah.
Before we start getting into it.
Like I said to you guys, the walk back to the car was like something I totally forgot about. Because it's like you finally, like when you're running around and you're playing, the adrenaline's kicking in, you don't really feel anything. And then once you stop, take off the boots, that 20-foot walk from like the bench to the car, it's like, what did I just do to myself?
No, I did not want to get up at all after I changed the boots. I could have just slept on the field.
Oh, same. We came back here to the house, had some dinner, and then we went jumping on the trampoline, and I just laid there. I just laid on my back, and the kids are jumping around me, and I almost fell asleep while they were jumping. Like I was that tired. I was literally, my body's doing this, and I almost fell asleep.
That's when you know you're tired.
Oh God, yeah. Today's gonna be good sleep. I know that.
Shout out to a Hamoudi's. We had some Hamoudi shawarma, and it was probably like the best shawarma I've ever had after quite the workout.
See, I'm more of a Bosch's guy. Two shawarmas, two chickens.
Yeah. Yep, I did mixed beef. Mixed beef.
Is that chicken and beef together?
Yeah, I just had chickens, not a chicken and beef.
I never tried the mix before. I've actually literally had like a chicken and then a beef, like two separate ones.
Mm-hmm.
I never had it mixed.
Mm-hmm. I love mixed.
How is that?
Delicious. Two mixed shawarmas from Hamoudi's. Shout out for Hamoudi's getting free advertising. But,
hey, Hamoudi's, Bosch's. Like I said, I'm more of a Boscha guy. But whoever wants to support us from the Tecumseh end of the shawarma community, we're here for you guys.
Yeah, gladly eat your shawarmas.
100%. Okay, so to the actual footy action that took place this weekend, and actually some games that took place in the beginning of the week as well. Where should we start, guys? I mean, I don't really want to start with Chelsea Arsenal because that was just something to forget. Chelsea taking a 4-1 loss to Arsenal midweek. I mean,
we're starting with Chelsea Arsenal.
Well, I'm not going to start it. We're not going to talk about it. I have to break it down. I just got to say what happened. It wasn't a good game.
Yeah.
From Chelsea's standpoint, Arsenal, I mean, all the power to them. Good job in them. But I just want to let the people know that game did take place. I'm not avoiding it. I'm probably going to focus more on the West Ham game today when Chelsea became 1-0 victors. But I'm just letting everyone know. I know they lost. I know. We don't have time tonight to break it down. It's getting late already. So we're going to do a quick session here. But, let's just start at the top of the table. Man City still keeping their lead against Liverpool. 5-1 victors against Watford, who are, probably seeing their way out of the Premier League for this season. Kind of tough for Watford. Yeah. I mean, going into it, they didn't really have anything going for them much. They didn't have any, in like the last 5 games you can look at as to really take anything from, 3 losses in a row going into the Man City match. Everything was against them, and it really showed this game, 5-1 in favor of the Citizens.
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough when you're, second from the bottom team going against the champions who really have something to play for, because they have to like pick up these results to keep up with Liverpool. So going into that game, I mean, it's an uphill battle from the start, and Man City started off flying. I wouldn't say it was Man City's best game. I think they were making quite a few mistakes, but they got an early goal with Gabriel Jesus, and it was just all Man City from there. Watford did get one back, but no, he 4 goals, and at the rate they were going, he could have got more towards the end of the game. But yeah, I mean, aside from the one that Watford got back, it was just all Man City. There was, a little bit of criticism, as you would expect, from Jack Grealish. I think everyone's asking, like, when is he going to score? When's he going to start putting in these performances? I kind of get the whole him not scoring thing, but I do see his contribution outside of him scoring. So I wasn't, like, too overly critical of his performance, and just the role he's playing at Man City. So, I think a good result, obviously, for them, and just keeping toe to toe with Liverpool.
I mean, just to touch on the Grealish thing, I know everyone's getting criticism. I think he's getting more because of the price tag. But if you remember, I think Mahrez and Cancelo were both really struggling when they went to City their first season. Even Mahrez, I think it was even 2 seasons. But, and this is just a broader thing in general, I think Pep's one of the very few coaches that actually develops players and makes them like a lot better than what they are. I think, and this is not like, it's just like an observation. I'm not obviously criticizing EPL managers because I obviously couldn't do it, but I feel a lot of coaches now, they look for players to put in their system. And then if they don't work, then they sell them. They're done. They move on to someone else. I think Pep really spends his time on those players and develops them and like makes them better, which is, that is the job of a coach, right? Like you take these players, you try and make them better. And, I've seen it. I know it didn't really work with Danilo, and that's why they went for Cancelo. And I remember some pundits were saying it's like, oh, they sold Danilo and got Cancelo for money. It's like that's like a nothing trade. And now we're here 3 years later,
man.
And now he's like the best left back in the world, right? And I know Cancelo was came out and said, he's like, yeah, when I first got here, me and Pep didn't see eye to eye. Things were really working out. And now he's like completely changed. So I think just the development and like the personnel management of Pep, I think I'm more leaning to the side that in maybe next year, maybe the year after, Grealish is going to come out and just be just as solid as like Sterling and maybe Mahrez even is right now, just because he is that good of a coach. So I'm not too worried about it. And, I'm not even too worried about like City offloading Grealish in like 1 or 2 years, because I think Pep's not about that, unless for whatever reason he just really doesn't work out after like a few seasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about this Grealish situation, but we'll see what happens when if it happens with Erling Haaland, or however you pronounce his name, going to City.
Stop with that, Joe. I don't want
to
hear
happen.
That. Probably will happen, but I don't want to hear it happen.
Okay.
Just the jealousy setting in. With Grealish, yeah, obviously his hype was unreal coming from Aston Villa. And again, like he put in a pretty top-notch performance at the European Cup last year in the summer. So his expectations coming into City were huge. But that being said, yeah, he came off the bench in this match, I believe. He did, right?
No, he started.
He started? Oh, sorry. Yes, he did. He started in the false 9 position. Sorry, I didn't see him on the lineup card there. He started as the false 9. I assume he didn't probably stay there. I would think he probably ran around the field like a chicken with his head cut off. But when you still become 5-1 victors, and obviously you want to see his name on the score sheet, but your team's winning 5-1, so they're just kind of complaining about bullshit stuff in the first place. Yes, you want to see him get going, but then you have a player like Gabriel Jesus put up 4 goals. Why are you still looking at Grealish and to give him criticism when your team's performing at a top-notch level still?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of tough. It's tough on the player. It's tough to be that good where you're still criticizing your team when you just beat somebody 5-1.
Yeah. And he made some contributions. I mean, he had a part to play in Jesus' 4th goal. He's getting good position on the field. So I think it comes with the job, really. I mean, you're with City. Everyone's expecting you to always be doing something. If you're not contributing, you're getting, analyzed. So
yeah, I guess.
Like Joe said, I think it's going to work out for him. And I'm actually looking forward to see how he develops over the next few seasons with Pep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because clearly just the facilities, the academy, the knowledge of what Man City brings is top notch. And outside the top 5, you're not going to find that many, clubs that are going to give many guys opportunity. Yes, we've seen before with Southampton, especially how they can kind of take players from nothing, even take players from the first division and bring them to the side, and help them progress and become better, and then just offload for money. I think Southampton is like one of the best, like, you know, not youth teams, but one of the best, developing clubs, I would guess. Maybe in their eyes, it should have kept more of the players for like a little bit longer and have a better run sometimes. But when you got Liverpool offering you top dollar for Van Dijk, and you got, again, Liverpool again for Sadio Mane giving you top money, like, you kind of let the guys walk.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, they want to make profit on these players, and, you know.
Yeah, I would say if a player wants to leave, you have to let them leave. It's my philosophy.
Yeah, he said this since day one.
Yeah.
And like when you're at a side like with Southampton, and like you see, like, if you can identify yourself as, you know, like you're maybe better than the club, like what you're better, your talent level is higher than what the club is, if that makes sense. You also have your agent in the back of your ear, like, you know, talking to you saying, hey, like, we can probably move. We could probably, you've had a great season. You can maybe put yourself in the market and ask for you know, it could be traded or sold, whatever, ask for a transfer. And when you have someone saying that in your ear as well, like, it's going to boost your confidence, and it's going to boost your ego a little bit more as well. And you're going to you're going to demand that much more to leave the club, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And we've seen it, you know, time and time again in EPL and every other league out there.
Yeah.
Staying at the top of the table, Merseyside Derby, Liverpool, Everton, 2-0 victors to the Reds. Liverpool remains a red city.
I mean, might be a really red city soon.
It might be really red. The blood of Everton fans be flowing in the streets.
I mean, obviously I'm not in England right now, but
no.
Does Liverpool want Everton to get relegated? You know,
like Liverpool as a club, or Liverpool supporters.
Well, I mean, kind of the same. Like, diehard Liverpool fans, do they want Everton? They're like, oh yeah, Everton's relegated. It's like, oh, the Merseyside Derby's done.
I don't think they'll care, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they would just be like, yeah, we're Liverpool the best, and you're Everton. Yeah, we are the best. Like,
yeah.
It's sad. I mean, we were talking when Everton was like falling down the table. We're like, Everton's not going to get relegated. Like, they're not. And now they're going, and now they're actually in the bottom three with Burnley getting a big win. Burnley sitting 31 points in 17th. Everton 8th.
Everton's running is so much more difficult too.
Yeah, we touched on that. Yeah.
And granted, Everton does have a game in hand.
But they got like Chelsea.
Yeah, they have, you know, a really tough run in, so it's definitely not guaranteed that they're going to win that game in hand. I would say it's actually more unlikely that they won't.
Yeah.
Or it's more likely that they won't. So it's tough, man. Yeah, I mean, shout out to the Wizard. I mean, he's, you know, since the start of the season, he said they were having a tough run in, so
he's going through some stuff right now. The Wizard is going through some stuff.
Yeah. Really tough to be an Everton fan.
Everton's remaining schedule have them see Chelsea, Leicester, Watford, Brentford, Crystal Palace, and last match of the season against Arsenal away. It's a tough final 6 games.
You have to win. You have to win against Brentford, Crystal Palace, and Watford.
Yeah, I think
there's nothing. You're going to lose the other 3 games. You have to win those games.
Yeah. I think last pod we said they have to get at least a draw in one of those matches, but with Burnley pulling away the victory like they did against Wolves, though, like, that draw scenario is like gone now. It's out the window. That you can't even look at a draw possibility. It has to be win in those 3 matches, and then just fight hard in the other 3 against you know, some better competition.
Yeah, because Burnley has Villa. Or recall they have Villa twice, Newcastle. And
they have Villa, Tottenham.
Yeah,
like you said, Newcastle and Watford is who they play next.
They could
next weekend.
Burnley could easily win like 3 of those games because Aston Villa would probably be safe and they'll be in like 15th and not really care. So we'll see.
Well, Burnley has a chance to pick up another 6 points, maybe 7 if they pick up a draw. So Everton's got to figure something out here.
It's so hard to see them down there as low as they are, and with the money, with the moves that they made at the transfer deadline, it kind of looked like they were going to pull an Aston Villa and like pull themselves out of that battle. and put some actual positive results on the table there on the board. And with getting Lampard appointed there too, you're getting a better manager. We thought maybe better than Alfred Benitez, what he did at the beginning of the season and last year. Clearly not very successful with Everton, and everyone kind of wanted him out.
Mm-hmm.
And with Lampard being appointed, again, he was hungry still. He still wants to coach. He still wants to be a manager in the Premier League. He did a stellar job with Derby County a couple of seasons ago. Maybe we're seeing that Lampard kind of has to still learn a few things here and there, and maybe he should spend another season in like the first division. I don't have to say if Everton would keep him on board if they do get relegated. I think like he was bothered for one thing, and it was to get us out of relegation zone and then maybe continue as our manager from that point on. But if they go down with Lampard still, that's got to be a fresh start. Like they're going to have to gut the team again, get rid of the talented players that don't want to play there anymore probably. Jordan Pickford might be gone, let's just say.
Mm-hmm.
Calvert-Lewin probably gone. Van de Beek, yeah. He's on loan, right? He'll probably go back to United.
Yeah, I think Ten Hagen's going to bring him back.
Yeah, so they're going to be gutted one way or another. And who knows? They could pull, a Sunderland and get relegated again. Could you imagine that? Into the second division.
I was actually, before this, I was watching a video from Tifo Football. I don't know if I told you about that yet. What relegation would mean for Everton.
Oh boy.
It was like these really cool. It was more on the financial side, how like their sponsorship shirt would like Kazoo, I think it is. I don't know if it would go away or they have to renegotiate. I forget exactly what he said.
Most likely, yeah.
To be honest, they would have the main thing he said was what was it? I think it was the high paying players that you can't get rid of. So I think they spent their seventh for the amount of money spent this last season.
Yes.
Or their wage bill. I think their wage bill is seventh in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
So outside of, I think, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, there's a lot of clubs interested in them, but there's a lot of players that are on really high salaries that they can't really offload. So I think that's going to be the major struggle for Everton. And then they have to like reevaluate like basically everything because they're not sure what they can do with that scenario. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one. And I was kind of unclear. I'm not sure if they had like plans for like a 40 million renovation of the stadium or something like that, but that's contingent on.
Ouch.
Yeah. Or I forget what it was. It has something to do with the stadium or like a stadium deal. Or I think I knew it's either that or stadium sponsors. There was like a lot of plans at Everton, to be honest.
Yeah. They're dreaming big.
But I guess back to my thing. I think what he said was like, they might have like a backup sponsor. I don't even know, or something like that. But it was just, you should watch it. It was pretty interesting.
We'll put the link in the description on the video here.
And I didn't know this. If you get relegated, I think it's like almost $80 million in lost revenue. But I didn't know this. I guess they have like some teams have this. Like I think Newcastle had it and West Ham had it. There's like a plan in place for those clubs. Like if we go down to the championship, how do we like sustain ourselves financially so we can stay in there for 1 year and not get too hard of a hit and like hopefully come back up next year?
Contingency plan.
Yeah, or something like that. Like a plan. It's like, what happens if we get relegated? Here's what we have to do. So,
but those are teams that have been relegated in the past that know what it's like. Everton hasn't been there in years.
I know.
I don't think they've ever been there since the Premier League has become a thing, like in the early 90s.
No.
So I don't know. I mean, they probably like stressing around February. Okay, we should probably look into like what Newcastle has done. Like, maybe we can come back next year because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I know. Like we here had high expectations. Well, not high expectations, but we had high beliefs that Everton they're gonna pull it out. But they've been disappointing everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just string of like really bad results or just not picking up the points that they should be picking up, and here they are.
Yeah, here they are. 18th place, like we said, 2 points outside, of 17th place Burnley, who is safe right now. Watford and Norwich, I believe, are pretty close to being mathematically relegated, like mathematically, automatically. You know what I'm saying? Mathematically, automatically relegated. Mathematically, automatically relegated.
Yeah. I mean, probably. I don't think it's mathematically yet, but probably. I would say.
I mean, Norwich at 21. They can win a possible 5 more
Five
games.
games.
10 points. That puts them at 17th. So they're 1 game away, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Watford's not far behind.
Yeah.
So yeah, Liverpool though on their end of things, again, they just keep rolling. They put a lot of good string of results together recently, including obviously again, just to touch on it, then getting into the semifinals of the Champions League. They're going to be facing Villarreal coming next week. Actually, on May the 3rd is the first leg of that match. They have a little tune-up game against Newcastle before that. Wednesday the 27th. Oh, my bad. Wednesday 27th is their actual next game.
Yeah.
For Champions League. And then come back on the weekend against Newcastle, and then leg 2 on the following week on May 3rd. Whew. Got that one out there. Liverpool, I think their Champions League chances are pretty high. I know Villarreal is kind of like the Cinderella story of the Champions League so far, with them knocking off the likes of Bayern Munich in the quarterfinal. But I don't know. I mean, we said before how Bayern's like a well-oiled machine, and they've obviously been the best team in Germany for years and years. But this Liverpool team is just different, and the depth that they have, even like a game like today, like Divock Origi and Andy Robertson scoring the goals against Everton. I mean, like 2 guys that you would never think would really be on the score sheet. When you had the likes of Mane and Firmino and Jota and Salah, of course. So for them to kind of pull goals out from anywhere, it just shows the depth of the team. And like I said, Villarreal has been on this fairy tale run, and I'd love to see it keep going if they can progress, but they're going to have it tough against Liverpool. And leg 1 is at Anfield, so you can kind of see them behind the 8 ball right away in that match. But I don't know. I think if Liverpool can't obviously pull any closer to Man City in the standings for the Premier League, a nice consolation win would be a Champions League final where they might face Man City anyways. So I think on either ends of the either ends of the tournament, whether you're looking at EPL or you're looking at Champions League, Liverpool are still going to give their everything, and they still have a pretty good chance to come away with wins in both categories, both tournaments.
Yeah, honestly, I think this makes for probably like the most exciting end to the season we could have hoped for. I mean, Man City looked like they were running away with the EPL title, but now it's close. And the fact that they could meet in the Champions League final, which is obviously looking very likely. I mean, Man City have a really tough matchup against Real Madrid, but I think it'll make for probably one of the more exciting endings to the season in general with these two going head to head. And I think someone was saying, I think it was a commentator, I don't know if it was Jim Proudfoot, saying that Pep said that at the end of the day, when he's retired and playing golf, that he'll always remember Liverpool as his greatest rivals in his career.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is saying something about, what's happened with these two teams over the years. They match up well against each other. It's always exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking like I would bank on City probably winning the league. Just looking at their run-in, Wolves, Leeds, Newcastle, West Ham, Villa. I know Liverpool still has to play Spurs, and they're going to be fighting for a Champions League spot. I mean, but the rate these two are going, they'll probably just both win out all the rest of their games. Because they've both done it before. They both won the league, so they know what goes into it. And City's experience when was it? I don't know if it was 2 seasons ago, where they were in the same scenario. City and Liverpool both had to win out all their games. And I think it was even longer. They had 10 matches left. And so they had to win all of them to make sure they won the league. And that's where Company scored that top corner goal against Leicester.
Oh, yeah. Top cheese.
Yeah. So the plus is they've been here before, so they know what it takes. So I get the feeling that experience will help them see this season out. And then we'll see what happens in Champions League. That'll be juicy.
Yeah, the schedule for Liverpool, the remaining games like we touched on again, Villarreal in the Champions League, and they have Tottenham, Villa. The next game is like I said, against Newcastle. They have Chelsea in the FA Cup final, and then you got Southampton and Wolves as their last match of the season. So yeah, very gettable games for them as well. The Chelsea clash It's kind of like thrown right in there, like just kind of like an unnecessary timing. May 14th. The final match of the season is supposed to be scheduled for May 22nd, but the game against Southampton's actually been postponed, or it was a postponed match from before. So we'll see where they end up throwing that game in. I wouldn't be surprised if they did maybe the 17th or 18th, a few days after, basically in between the FA Cup final and the match against Wolves, maybe like a Wednesday match against Southampton. So we'll have to see when it comes down to that. You know, last match of the season's on May 22nd for all teams. I think they all try and play at the same time, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there's no shenanigans going on with scoreboard watching and whatnot. So yeah, Liverpool Wolves is the last match for them. And like we said, for Man City, who was it, Joe? Their last match?
They play, I believe,
Villa.
That's Villa.
Villa. Yeah, Villa's the last match too. So yeah, like you said, very gettable games for everyone there. Toughest test to be Liverpool, Spurs. Man City's maybe the West Ham game.
Yeah, I'd say we'll see West Ham away. You know, Wolves away might be tough too. We'll have to see. But just like I said, with the state they're in, knowing they have to win.
And they don't have FA Cup to worry about too.
Yeah.
Right, where Liverpool does.
One less thing to worry about.
But anything can happen. Who knows?
Yeah. Just going down the table again. Chelsea 1-0 victors against West Ham. Had to wait all of the 90th minute. They got a gift of a penalty as well in the 86th off a red card issued out to, what was his name again? Dawson? Yeah, Craig Dawson, 86th minute. Jorginho steps up, does not score. It's kind of just the way that the Italians are doing things lately. They just don't come through in the clutch.
Jorginho just missing PKs.
So yeah, that was obviously like the shining moment for Chelsea. They're like, okay, well, it's our perfect opportunity. We've played a pretty good game against West Ham. Very back and forth, London derby, it always is. But I think Chelsea deserved to get the win anyways, even though they didn't really convert many of their chances. And yeah, Jorginho steps up. It's easy save by Fabianski. He's kind of a shitty PK. I don't know if you guys saw it.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
He put it just like he did his regular run up, and then he just put it just off centered, like to his left. Like I
heard it was bad.
It was like 2 feet away from center. Like it was bad.
Yeah.
If Fabianski dove the other way, he looks like a genius. But it's one of those ones he just side footed it, like no power behind it. Fabianski just scooped it up, caught it. Not very good.
Yeah.
So like I kind of thought that might, crush Chelsea for like the next 5 minutes of the match going into extra time. But, bring on the American kid and, he's able to convert on a nice pass back. I believe it was Marcus Alonso that did it. I'll just check real quick. Pass was from, hard to see here. Yeah, I think it's Marcus Alonso on the wing. Oh no. Fuck, I don't know. Kovacic? I have no idea who that was. It was a nice finish though. Yeah, he ran to the byline. Pulisic followed into the 18-yard box. Right basically at the penalty spot area. Left foot one time to the far post. Fabianski got a hand on it. Didn't make enough contact, and ball kind of just trickled into the back of the net. So for Pulisic to get that, a guy who's been another player, kind of like Grealish in the same sense, where he had a lot of hype coming to the team, and he had shown like signs of brilliance. I think he got a hat trick in his first season with Chelsea last year. Injury set in, he missed a lot of time, and then he's still trying to find his way into the side and coming off the bench. Maybe he's more of like a spark plug player because it's hard to get into the side sometimes when you have the likes of Mount and Havertz playing as well as they have, Werner playing like his best run of form basically for Chelsea. I'm going to say it. Yeah, I'm going to say it. He's been playing pretty well. He's been keeping Lukaku on his ass on the bench. So
yeah,
he came on actually as a sub again in this match here. I think in the 60-something minute, maybe 70th minute. Which is what we're basically seeing from Lukaku now. Like whoever would have thought, Romelu Lukaku, one of the best strikers in the world, Belgium's #1 target man, and he's coming off the bench for Chelsea in like many, many games in a row.
Yeah.
Struggling to get a start. If you would have told me this was happening in April, if you would have said this to me back when they signed him in the summer last year, I'd be like, nah, you're joking. Like, there's no way. Like, he's going to score 25 goals for us. He's going to be lights out.
Yeah.
Clearly not. That's not what happened. That is not the case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, with the caliber of a striker he is, just to see what's going on. I even told one of my buddies that it all started, bringing it back again to that one like really stupid interview where he started making comments about something, and it's been all downhill from there. And it's just sad to see because obviously, I think it makes the Premier League better when he's playing at his best and not, underperforming. So hopefully they figure something out next season. Wouldn't be totally surprised, like we've talked about, if he leaves.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens, but I hope he stays in the Premier League because I think it makes it better.
And now too, like, if he does leave, like Chelsea's probably saying, okay, we can maybe take a loss on him, but we'll need as much money as we can because we don't know what the fuck's going on with our club in the future. So whatever money we can scoop up and salvage, like let's try and retain it.
Yeah.
Chelsea is 5 points safe right now from fourth place Arsenal, who picked up a huge win against Manchester United on Saturday morning, the early match. 3-1 victors. Pretty hard fought game, and this is a game I actually did tune into. I was really busy over the weekend, so my footy viewing was limited. But I saw this game early on Saturday morning. I was impressed by Arsenal. They played really well, and I wouldn't say it brought me back to the Wenger days, but just the ball movement from this team in this game in particular. I mean, I know United is not a defensive dynamo in any sense, but the ball movement and the quick passing and like the opening of a space that Arsenal, put forth in this match, I was really impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think I called it back in the day. It's like Arsenal. I mean, but I was doubting for a while when Spurs were on their run.
Well, we were all doubting.
Yeah, so Spurs was, going for it, but Arsenal obviously got two massive wins with United and Chelsea.
Yeah, back to back. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's obviously huge. But I think, similar to the Man City Liverpool game that we had a couple of weeks ago, I know Arsenal Tottenham got to play, I think, third last game of the season against each other. So that's going to be the telltale game, I would say. But, it's tough with these two teams. They're inconsistent where they could just randomly drop points to, whoever it might be. So it really could pick either one. I couldn't tell you who I would pick at this point.
Yeah, it's tough.
We'll just we'll see what happens when they play each other in towards the end of the season.
Yeah, you're right. Third last game for Arsenal. They have West Ham next, another London game, tough one, and then match against Leeds, and then Tottenham, Newcastle, and then like we touched on before, they play Everton at home on the last match of the season.
Yeah,
May 22nd. Again, I can't say it enough. May 22nd. Like, mark your calendars for that because it's going to be fireworks.
Yeah,
going into that match day.
Yeah.
But I can't say his name. Bakayo Saka.
Yeah,
Bakoya Saka. All-star Saka.
Yeah.
Bakayoko. I can't say his name. Stud.
Bakayo.
Absolute stud. Bakayo Saka. Absolute stud for Arsenal. I mean, he obviously had the embarrassment that took place in the Euros last year, and we were kind of thinking like, oh, is he going to recover from this? And I think the first 2 months of the season, we really showed that he was still nursing that a little bit. And I think the whole Arsenal side had something going on. They had a flu bug or something. Maybe they all had COVID at the same time. I don't know. Maybe that's why they had their shitty start to the season.
Yeah.
But once the weather changed, once whatever clicked in with Arteta's plan, or maybe around Christmas time, maybe a little bit before that. From that point on, Arsenal have just been a freight train, going forward. And yeah, they have dropped some points against some teams that they maybe shouldn't have. But still, that's going to happen. That's the parity of the Premier League. You're going to have the sides of Man City and Liverpool who are just on an absolute next level, where they go into every match being confident that they can win 3-0, and half the time that they end up doing that. Everyone else, you can look at Arsenal versus Leeds or Arsenal versus Burnley and say, Arsenal will probably win this game, but there is still a chance. Like, it's still Arsenal we're talking about, and clearly Chelsea's done the same thing. Just a couple weeks ago, they lost against Brentford out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it does happen in English football, but if I was to pick, if they were level on points right now and there's nothing separating them and they just had 5 games left, I think I would still lean towards Arsenal to come out victorious. I think they just, like I said, since Christmas, they just did something different. I know kind of Tottenham's been the same way a little bit. Like they have had a lot of streaks, like hot and cold throughout the season. And Antonio Conte's got the boys at Tottenham playing a very conservative type of football, I think. Like clearly he's more defensive minded, so they don't take as many risks going forward. And we do see a lot of the play like always being funneled through Son and Kane. But with Arsenal, they're fast, they're young, they're exciting. It seems that they actually they are starting to have an identity with themselves. And I think Arteta's done a really good job like kind of shaping the team to what he wants to have. And like we touched on it so many times, like in earlier podcasts. Yes, they do still need key players in key positions. They do need some glue guys. They do need some guys to like solidify that midfield role for them alongside Granit Xhaka, or maybe replace Granit Xhaka. Such a hothead, that guy.
Yeah, just more and more of a liability with him.
And I know he dons the captain band a lot now, and I mean he's probably been there the longest out of anybody. So maybe that's why he's still retaining that. But yeah, he's a firecracker, man. He's very the temperature runs hot with him all the time. Like he's always up there.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think if I had to pick a side, I think I would see Arsenal, clinch that 4th place spot. And that's going to be a great game. When they have to play against Tottenham. Is it at, where's it at, Joe? Do you know?
White Hart, or not White Hart Lane. Whatever Tottenham's name.
They have
White Hart Lane.
Called. I don't even know.
They have the creative name of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah. Okay.
I like White Hart Lane.
Yeah. It's a beauty stadium too. I know it's like obviously older and it had to get replaced at some point, but that was a character stadium.
Yeah,
for sure. That was a nice one.
That was great. No, I mean, shout out to Arsenal. I mean, they went up against Man U, and I think, going to the big games, maybe Arsenal was always one of those teams where, especially at the start of the season, where they were like the quote unquote big club that could have won the big games. But, credit to them, taking it to Man U. I mean, Man U's just in a really bad place right now, and it's getting worse and worse for them. Yeah. Ten Hag's, I think more and more of his plan of just gutting the team is going to take effect when he comes in. So, but shout out to Ronaldo. I mean, scoring at the end of like an unfathomable week for him.
Big
craziness. Yeah, so definitely condolences to him and his family. But it's really tough for Man U. I mean, Pogba's getting booed off the field. Maguire's just under constant scrutiny. So just another tough run-in for Man U. So hopefully Ten Hag can kind of turn that ship around to better days, because Man U's been waiting a long time to just have something that they would consider a successful season, because year after year, it's just disappointing for them, really.
Not much to cheer about if you're a Man U fan, really.
No. I mean, and I remember, I don't know how much they spent. Like, what is it? Close to $1 billion. So, it's just the foundational problem at the club. Decision making's not been good enough. Like, you're going to blame the players all you want, and they are to blame, of course. You've had how many managers, and they always seem to like, I think, who was it? Roy Keane was talking. I heard him talk. He kept saying how, when he was at the club, Scholes, Giggs, Becks, they would be terrified at the prospect of leaving Man United, and how like they loved the club, and it was this great atmosphere. And now you get like all these players coming to Man U, and it's like, oh, like the dressing room's a mess. We all want to leave. Like, it's terrible. And you see like Roy Keane just get all like sad. It's like, we're talking about Manchester United. And like that heavy, it's like, like Man U, probably arguably one of the most prestigious clubs in the world. And you have players who are like, the dressing room sucks and we like want to leave. And it's like, how do you like, and Roy Keane's just like dejected. I'm like, that's not a good thing. You need someone, and I don't know what it is. Like, yes, you probably need to change in ownership, but just someone to come in and be like, no, like we have to get back to the days where like we're about winning the Premier League. Because right now it's just like, yeah, one of my friends, well, actually someone I work with, he talks about how like Man U is just interested in like their sponsorship partnerships and they're making money and stuff like that. So until they reprioritize, wanting to win the league, it's going to be very difficult for the board or whoever to make decisions that's going to benefit the club, because there's no way you spend $1 billion like that poorly if you're like that interested in making sure your team's good, because you don't like, just spending money on players because like the fans want them is like not the best route to take,
And now it's like the Jadon Sancho debacle that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, he's finally kind of starting to show up now. He's playing pretty well, but that was not handled properly.
Sancho and even Van de Beek.
Yeah.
You have these players that you just bought and like for tens of millions of dollars, and like I don't know what happened, but I guess Solskjaer didn't even want them and he didn't fit into the system. It's like, what'd you buy him for?
I know. It's like Man U they're setting their bar really, really high to achieve like great things with the club, but they can't even just do the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they have to do baby steps. Like, yes, they qualified for Champions League last year. Did they have a Champions League side? No. Did they have a Champions League, like, were capable of progressing through Champions League? Yeah, they were there. They were in a lot of the games, but they never seemed dominant. They never seemed like they were like on paper when you match them up against any team that got out of the group stage. You never saw Man U and look at the team sheet and be like, oh yeah, I'm scared of these guys, because they have holes everywhere through their team. Yeah, on paper, they might have the likes of Ronaldo, oh my god, like Rashford, Pogba. But when these guys don't play properly and they don't play well and their form is like stinky, they're a really bad team. Like they're not very good. So I think, again, their expectations that they're setting for themselves is really, really high. But it's like, guys, just scrap all that. Maybe they don't qualify for Europe this year. Maybe they don't get into the Europa League. That might not be the worst thing for them. Get Ten Hag in there. Have him rebuild the team, have him, gut the team possibly. We don't know what's going to happen next summer. This summer. And then have him like kind of start fresh with the team. And like I said, maybe they don't qualify for Europe. West Ham's only, I believe, 2 points behind them. Chasing them from behind. They're level on points with 4 games remaining. So there's an opportunity that West Ham could jump them into the last Europa League spot. And for the first time in a long time, it might not be European football for Manchester United, but it might be what they need. Just focus on the Premier League, focus on, FA Cup if you want to, Carabao Cup, try and progress through there, develop your young players who haven't seen really come through the side in a while, and young guys for United. And maybe just set your bar low and start climbing again. Kind of like what Arsenal have done. We're not really there anymore. Let's get into Champions League, or let's just get into Europe next year. And like, let's make that our goal. Like, let's not try and like get into top 3. Let's just try and get back into Europe. Next time, let's try and get 3rd place, because now we'll really set ourselves, properly for Champions League. We know we're locked in, kind of like what Chelsea's doing. Get another year under their belt there, and then like year 3 of the plan, we're going for the title. That's kind of how they have to look into things.
Yeah.
But like we talked about before, and like what Joe just said, they just want results. They just want their team to be number 1 in the world. They want their team to be up in lights. Oh, Manchester United. Like,
they want to sign superstars.
Yeah, and that's just not the club that they are anymore. They're not even the best team in their city.
City and Liverpool, like from bottom. Like I mentioned this how many times? Like what's that guy's name? The director of football. I forget who it was. Not the owner, Seek Mansour, but the other guy.
Oh yeah,
with the way he seems like he runs the club. I don't know for sure. Like, obviously I'm not at City, and just Liverpool. You never hear about any issues. Like, if Man U wants to compete with City and Liverpool, you either need to hope Pep and Klopp leave sometime soon, and whoever they bring in doesn't do the greatest job, and things start to fall apart there, and that's how you win the league. Which probably is not going to happen there. I think both those clubs are well run. It's like, we got to like plan for the successor, get a plan in place, do something properly.
Yeah.
So Man U, if they want to win the league, they have to build not just the team and the coach, but like the whole club's philosophy has to change. Otherwise those two are just going to keep crushing the league like they keep doing, because they're way too well oiled, like from top to bottom, for Man U to just come in with the way they've been running things to hopefully win the league. That's just not going to happen.
That's what I mean. They're just their eyes are so big for the Premier League, and it's like, guys, you're not even close. Like, get your expectations out of there, because all they're doing is hurting themselves and hurting the fan base too. And I don't know, but Man U fans, I would assume a lot of them are just like fair weather fans, or if their team's doing well, then they're going to support them. If they're doing shit, they might not be there. But for the diehards, I would hope that they would understand that their team is not ready to win the Premier League. And like it happens a lot of times in North American sports, your team tanks, they don't do very well. They come back in a couple years, like rebuilt, regrouped. And if Man U wants to do that, maybe their fan base will get behind them. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe they'll understand, say, hey, yeah, maybe we aren't as good as we used to be. Yeah, we can't sign all these great players and then just become like a superstar team because we're already really good. We have to basically start from scratch.
Yeah.
And if they can come out publicly and say that, which they never would, I think their fan base might be like, yeah, we should do that. Like, it's not a bad idea. Like, maybe we'll finish 8th this year, and then we'll come back next year stronger, and then we'll finish 5th, and then we'll come back stronger and finish 3rd. And then, then we can maybe, go on and spend some big cash, and we can go, be a little bit more risky and try and push that even harder for the Premier League title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm praying that Man U just kind of figures it out, because it just sucks to see it week in and week out. Just constantly Man U just in shambles, fans protesting, players getting booed off the field.
And I don't even like Man U. I hate United, but like I want to see them. I want to see them just do better, man. Like you're not good. They're not a good team, which is it's wild because the talent they have on their side is really good.
Yeah.
Like I said, like when they're gelling, when they're actually playing well and they're not being individual and they actually are, putting some, passes together and tactics are actually looking like they're working. They're a good team, but it doesn't happen very often.
No.
Like more times than not, they have just, like I said, holes at the back. They have players not tracking back. They have, counterattacks being put against them and just some shitty goals going in. Just by chance sometimes, but I don't know. They have their next match against Chelsea. Is actually a midweek game, another makeup game. Actually, it's not. This is so ridiculous. It says it's match day 37. Against Chelsea.
I think they're trying to make up for when Chelsea's got to play the FA Cup final, so they're trying to maybe move that game up.
Okay, smart.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're pushing a game forward instead of pushing a game back, which we don't see very often from the FA.
Yeah.
But that game is Thursday, April the 28th. And then your weekend schedule has Newcastle, Liverpool kicking off the early match, 7:30. I mean, Newcastle, what's up, man? Like,
yeah.
3-0 victors over lowly Norwich. The ultimate climb back. I love it. I mean, I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be $150 less rich, I guess was the word. $150 cheaper in the hole.
Yeah.
But I mean, they put my money where my mouth is. So
yeah,
good for Newcastle. They're killing it.
Yeah, sitting very comfortably in 9th. Just dream scenario. I mean, their goal obviously when Eddie Howe took over was just to stay in the Premier League. They're top 10 now, and their performances have been good. I mean, they're just getting results. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens next season with them. I think everyone does need to manage expectations. You have all this money coming in. Everyone wants to just be like, oh, we're going to become the next Man City and we're going to win titles.
Yeah.
Man City did take a while to get there.
Keep in mind, it took like what? I remember it started with the whole Robinho thing. So like, that was like 12, 15, I don't even know.
That's a long time.
Over a decade ago. So they have to realize it's going to take. And they went through a couple of managers before Mancini came in and won the title for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll take years. So if everyone's patient, it can happen. But if they turn into United where they just spend a bunch of money, not really rotating managers, it's not going to happen.
it's like if you spend money too soon, you're just going to hurt yourselves.
Yeah.
Financially, and just your team's just not ready yet, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't, I kind of wish it was more like North American sports where there's like trades involved, because like you could, you go like with draft picks and stuff. It's like like if you want to get a player from like a hockey team that's really good, you can throw in like 4 of your first round picks or something for like the next 4 years and then get that player. So it's like you're basically throwing away your future, but this player's like ready to play now. I kind of wish like football was like that, where it's like you have something to risk other than just money. You know, like if you're a team like Liverpool, like if you're Liverpool, you say, okay, take our first round picks because we don't need to like rebuild from like the ground up with like young players, and like we'll take like your really good guy. They don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But like aside like Newcastle, like they probably like want to hold on to their picks and like maybe build through like a draft situation, or like aside like Crystal Palace, or like want to hold on to their picks or something. I don't know. I'm just talking on my ass, but it's like I just want there to be more risk than just being like, oh yeah, I was gonna go buy this guy. It's like, okay, like yeah, you're risking money, but like it's your team has to be ready and prepared for you to bring in a talent like someone who could change your side, like just like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, I don't want Newcastle to kind of be like United and just see the run of form like going their way and then just like splurge next year when they're not totally ready yet to splurge.
Yeah.
And maybe it would put themselves in the hole a little bit financially. Like we don't know exactly what their money and their budget situation is like, but I mean, Europe could be on the cards for Newcastle next year. Who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be all based on who they get and how they perform. If they can bring in some big signings and perform like they are now, I think, you know, in a few seasons, I could definitely see them contending for Europe.
Yeah, they're the hottest team right now in England. You know, 4 straight wins. No other side has done that in the last 5 games. And of those 4 games, they beat Wolves and Leicester, who are, you know, sitting 8th and 10th. So they beat up on 2 top 10 teams. The other 2 wins coming against Crystal Palace and then most recently against lowly Norwich at the bottom of the table. But yeah, I can see it just going up from here for Newcastle.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's not like before where the top 4 is solid, like outside of City and Liverpool, and like maybe Chelsea's maybe got a toe in front of like the other top teams. Like no one's really made a claim like, oh, we're the 4th best. So it's there for the taking. Yeah.
And that gap's only going to close from now until the end of the season. Only a few teams are really in that spot to make a difference, but next year, again, full clean slate. You know, everyone starts at 0 points next season. So who knows? There could be some bright spots. I mean, for the longest time, Brentford and Brighton were, you know, sitting in the top 5, top 6 for a long time this year. They obviously found their form and they kind of where they should be in the table later on this. Oh no, sorry, not found their form. Found where they should be. They found their true form.
They found their true form.
Yeah, they found their true form later on in the season to like kind of level off where they should be at. Brentford in 12th and Brighton 11th. So, I mean, they're still pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
What was I saying? So, next weekend or this weekend, sorry. Newcastle, Liverpool. Who else we got? Leeds and Man City, Tottenham, Leicester, Everton, Chelsea at Goodison Park. See if Chelsea can maybe spoil Lampard's, you know, his attempts to pull him out of the relegation zone, or maybe, you know, Chelsea can say, hey, we're a little safe right now. You can go win.
I think Chelsea fans would be heartbroken if Lampard got relegated.
I wouldn't care. I love Lampard. He's my favorite player of all time. Yeah. If he goes down, you can't give him all the blame. Like the club's been just a disaster.
Yeah.
Even like when he took over, everything was kind of against him. I didn't think it'd be this bad, honestly, though.
Yeah, I don't think anyone did.
I don't know what his record is with Everton since he took over.
I mean,
actually looked that up.
They're like, even their team, it's like how. I mean, I know their D's not great, but with the players they have, I mean, what is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not good though.
Like Dele Alli's probably like, how did I get? Like, what the fuck?
I'm trying to find his record of just what he's done at Everton. You guys talk. I don't know.
I mean, it is. I mean,
It's not good. I know that, but
it's just what he got there a couple of months ago. It's probably a solid, like, I don't know, 3 wins, 2 draws, 9 losses, or whatever it is. Probably something like that.
pressure's on right now. I can't find it.
Yeah. I mean, he came into a club that was clearly in shambles, and I mean, I probably wouldn't have went for him. Like, you had Nuno. I'm not sure if he was interested at all, but you need someone that's been in the scrap and taken a team out of the scrap. This is a whole different thing. So
5-1-9.
yeah,
5 wins, 1 draw, and 9 losses.
Yeah,
Since January 31st.
very
It's not very
Yeah.
good.
No.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, if they do go down, I don't know if he'll stay with them.
Mhm.
I'll have to see. Well, yeah, again, we'll have to see how the season plays out. Clearly. So that's Chelsea, Everton, West Ham, Arsenal, London Derby, and then Man United versus Brentford. Hopefully Christian Eriksen can, show up a little bit there in that game too. He's awesome. I love to watch him play.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite, just all around midfielders. I mean, just what he does is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He's
On
just
and off
always
the
in
ball.
the mix. Yeah, always in the mix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And he does it very casually. He doesn't really break a sweat when he's playing. Like he
Yeah.
just kind of knows where to be. He hustles his ass off. He's an all-time runner. But yeah, he's always there.
yeah,
And to be honest, I'd like Brentford and kind of help them stay afloat since he's arrived. It's really cool to see.
Mhm.
yeah. Credit to him.
All right, we good, boys?
We are
All
good.
Good. All right. I want to thank everyone for listening, everyone for watching. This will be up on YouTube. You guys can see our faces here. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well, and even on the podcast platforms. You guys can leave comments. You guys can do a rating for us if you want. Everything you guys do really helps us out here on the channel and on the podcast. So we'll do our part. We'll keep the content going. You guys do your part and help us out a little bit.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.